You know what, Congresswoman Bachmann? Let's go at this, woman to woman, okay? I think I speak for millions of Americans when I say that the downgrading of our credit lies squarely at the feet of you and other members of the Tea Party who refuse to raise the debt ceiling, as it had been raised 39 times since 1980, including 18 times under your savior, President Reagan, and 7 under George W. Bush. But you and your cronies decided you'd make a spectacle and hold the country hostage. I really thought somebody was telling me a joke when I heard that you had the temerity to call on President Obama to fire U.S. Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner, as if maybe you had absolutely nothing to do with this. You know what, Congresswoman? Actions have consequences. I'm sure that's what you teach to your children. I'm sure you taught it to your foster children. And your refusal to raise the debt limit is an action you knowingly took that had a drastic and dramatic consequence. You and your other Tea Party compadres seem to know better than any of the government officials, economists, financial writers, frankly, anyone with half a brain who has any kind of a background, even an Economics 101 course, who warned that you were playing with fire. I know it's all the rage nowadays to make stuff up, to ignore your own role in events, but you're not getting away with the obfuscation of facts this time, Missy. You're just not. Try as you might to try and sugarcoat it, try as you might to lay the blame where it doesn't belong, try as you might to make believe it didn't happen. It's not going to work, not this time. Let's discuss some of the points raised in the S&P report, okay? It's really an interesting document. You might actually learn something if you read it. Let's start with a point where they say that the amount that the Congress and the administration agreed to is just not enough. It falls short to what they need in order to restore confidence in our government. So let's see. You insisted on the $2.4 trillion cut. The president wanted a $4 trillion grand deal, but wasn't going to work. Not with the Tea Parties. Next point. The statutory debt ceiling and the threat of default have become political bargaining chips in the debate over fiscal policy. Who was it again that used the debt ceiling as a bargaining chip? It wasn't the Democrats. They were going for a clean increase. Let's go to the next point. They also say it appears for now new revenues have dropped down the menu of policy options. I don't know. To me, that means that new revenues was pretty important in order to keep our AAA rating. And who was it that demanded revenue increases? That's right, it was the president and the Democrats. And who was it that continued to repeat the same talking points over and over and over, claiming the problem is our spending, not a lack of revenue. The problem is our spending, not a lack of revenue. Yeah, Ms. Bachmann, that would be you. That would be deadbeat dad, Congressman Joe Walsh, and the rest of the Tea Party who claimed to know so much. Next point. The Act contains no measures to raise taxes or otherwise enhance revenues. But you seem to know better, don't you? Guess what, Ms. Bachmann? It is the revenue, stupid. Standard & Poor's then goes on to say that because of your intransigence, that would be because the majority of Republicans in Congress continue to resist any measure that would raise revenues. It doesn't say Democrats. It doesn't say Democrats and Republicans. It says because the majority of Republicans in Congress continue to resist any measure that would raise revenues. They then go on to state they can improve the rating for the U.S. if the Bush-era tax cuts are eliminated, as the administration is advocating. That's a direct quote. If the 2001 and 2003 tax cuts for higher earners lapse from 2013 onwards, as the administration is advocating. Now, who's been calling to repeal the so-called Bush tax cuts? Yeah, that's right, it's the Democrats. And who's been trying to protect the high earners, people like yourself and Dr. Bachmann? Yeah, that would be the Tea Party and the Republicans, protecting the high wage earners, the ones who own the corporate jets. You may not own a corporate jet, but guess what? You're one of the high wage earners. You're protecting yourself. In case you've forgotten my point or haven't quite gotten it yet, our president has tried again and again and again and again to reason with the unreasonable. That would be you. He requested a clean debt ceiling increase. You refused. He requested revenue increases to be on the table. You refused. He wanted a $4 trillion deal. You refused. He wants to eliminate the Bush-era tax cuts. You refuse, preferring, obviously, you want to send America down the wrong path. So, Ms. Bachmann, I suggest you take responsibility. Better yet, I suggest that you resign. Since it is clear to me and to millions of others, you do not have America's interest at heart. I am speaking on behalf of the American people. You do not speak on behalf of the American people. You are willing to send our country into economic and financial chaos for political gain. And that is treasonous.